everyone. Welcome at the EPAM Blockchain Conference. And today we continue to talk about NFT, arts, Web3, and I'm sure you could hear our previous topics. And now, let me introduce our guest, Arseny Vesnin. He's an experienced digital arts expert. Actually, he's an expert in arts in general. He's been organizing a lot of exhibitions, and he's also a curator and speaker and a number of festivals. And as far as I understand, Arseny, you've been working in arts all your life. So how are you?
Hello, thank you. I hope it's clear. My voice is clear.
Yeah.
I have been in this, I don't know how to say, maybe from the 10 years old when I was introduced to art school. But before this, I'm a really great fan of Salvador Dali. And at the age of 7, my father brought me a book of Salvador Dali, and it was like a turning point, I think, in the whole of my life. And that's why I'm interested in arts, just to get inside it, in this concept.
I also know that right now you're also an expert in NFT a little bit, and you will share your experience. I know that you're leading a group of young artists, and maybe not so young and experienced as well, in order to add their pieces of work into NFT, right?
Correct, yes. Actually, I started my own project nearly 20 years ago. It was 2003. And I named it Design Collector at that moment, and I even didn't imagine that it will last so long, and it's still online. Design Collector was founded with the belief that everyone should have the latest views on the design, art, and the creative scene. And the starting point of Design Collector is that there are more art and design lovers out there in the world that we could even imagine. And since my beginning in 2003, the community has grown very fast, very quick, and it reflects my interest in this creative industry and of all kinds. So alongside blogging and reviewing artists since 2003, on a daily basis, I was invited to speak on different festivals and conferences on the topic of creativity, design, arts. For example, this screen is from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, where I have been presenting artists from Eastern Europe to the 6 or even 8,000 people. It was a stadium. I'm a little bit small there in the center of this picture. And this was like a huge experience to present artists in this way, in offline way. And 10 years ago, I started Digital Decade. It once debuted as collaborative contest. Digital Decade transformed through pop-up exhibitions and design festival to standalone shows in London, featuring up to 50 artists at a time. And early in 2018 or later in 2019, I was introduced to crypto and to NFT. And I was really interested how it may help artists to overcome their low income, to find the right collector, to find new investors. And actually the global lockdown, the COVID, triggered the NFT scene to shift this paradigm of artist relationships between artist and collector and the rise of this new market. And in 2020, I ran the first actually online Digital Decade after all this offline I had before, after all these exhibitions and all these people around me. I ran this online exhibition. It was before NFT, actually. It was just at the beginning of it. And I ran it as a VR gallery. And we made it together with our London partner, Digital Art Gallery S Edition. And we showcased a number of great artists there, including Krista Kim, that later became a superstar, a super NFT star. And artworks were on sale on S Edition digital marketplace there. And S Edition is the first digital platform that started to sell art copies from famous artists, from famous contemporary artists like Damien Hirst, like whatever names we can find. And they started to work at 2013, way before NFT, way before crypto art. And I'm really happy to have them as partners. And if we get back, so later in 2020, I joined this NFT movement and actually become an editor at SuperRare. It's a great platform for NFT artists, and I was onboarding new artists and publishing interviews with them. And if you get back to NFT as a history, the first experiments with NFT began in 2014 with the development of blockchain, but we do know that the development of NFTs was more strongly influenced by the Ethereum blockchain, and its first full-fledged NFT projects were run in 2015. It was Ethereum world, then it was Ethereum service names, it's like domains. They ran in 2017, and Curious Cards and first version of CryptoPunks are really the first project on that can be named as pioneering NFT projects. So at that time, NFT platforms rose, enlightening the new path for digital artists, crypto artists, investors, and collectors. So what is actually, yes, sorry.
Sounds pretty interesting because I think many of us have heard of NFT maybe last year for the first time when it was already hype, and now it turns out that this story started quite a long time ago in 2015. And did you also know about it already?
I think it was 2018 when I was invited in St. Petersburg to one blockchain crypto party. It was weird. It was a lot of people that I did not know, but they had an exhibition there, and they actually awarded the winner with the Bitcoin. I don't know what happens later. Later was a turmoil, later was the fall down, but it was strange for me, and I was really interested in it. And in 2018, I got an invite to Maker's Place. It's kind of the first marketplace, NFT marketplace, and I tried to do something there. And I understand that Ethereum was about, I don't know, $300 at the time. And I thought it's not a big deal for artists to start working with it. So I was very skeptical at the beginning. And this skepticism was also held by a lot of artists that later regretted or turned their point of view on this stuff. So,
okay, as far as I understand, you chose another chain, not Ethereum, but I think you will tell us later in the presentation.
Right. So currently, as you may know, NFT is a non-fungible token. It is a digital asset. It is a metadata that proves and embodies ownership rights to digital or physical objects, such as work of art, music, video, or even real estate. There's no limits for NFT, so NFT can be anything. It is just a metadata with something attached to it. Yeah, and tokens are minted onto the blockchain, and it is guaranteed that each one of NFT remains unique. And actually, there are many artists working in traditional media: brush, canvas, stone, metal, wood, pencil, paper. They are artists that creating purely conceptual pieces of works from ready-made objects. There are performance art, sound art, and every imaginable permutations of art. And now, of course, this is an immerse of digital realm, and digital has been a part of the art landscape for a while now, like a video art, but we really only now starting to scratch the surface of this field. We are starting to see interactive and live artworks, generative artworks, and now artworks created with artificial intelligence. I think you all saw this before. And as we talk about how it's developing nowadays, NFT is changing how art is bought and sold, and giving digital artists the ability to actually monetize and authenticate their work. And this was never been before. And this level of monetization was never been even close, because I'm kind of looking how artists are developing through ages, and nowadays just a boom, like we call it a renaissance spring, a digital renaissance, and artists really enjoying this. And this kind of technology could become more significant with developing of Metaverse and other Web3 spaces. So we cannot underestimate the impact of artists that are constantly pushing the boundaries, mixing reality with virtuality, digital with physical, creating new paradigms of digital art, crypto art, NFT. And actually, I was very lucky to work with the top artists and communicate with this kind of artists. And from my point of view, Krista Kim, she was one of the first female artists that have focused on the digital era, on the new digital era. And the way she expressed it through her art is called techism. She herself combined this kind of label. Techism is the way she sees it's how she focuses on awareness of mental health online, of mental health in Metaverse, and nobody was thinking about what's happening with a human when he's inside the VR, when he's inside the Metaverse. So really happy to work with her on my previous Digital Decade 2020. And before she entered the NFT, she entered it very successful. She shifted the women arts movement by delivering outstanding works like Mars House, which was actually sold for 300 Ethereums in early 2021. It was a record by the time for a female artist, for a female digital artist. So later she joined the collaborations with Louis Vuitton, and Louis Vuitton was kind of a first brand that jumped on this platform, jumped on NFT. They created a lot of stuff, and recently they created small pedants, gold pedants with CryptoPunks. They are really hyped with NFT. And also Krista was featured in auctions like Sotheby's and Christie's, and for me, she's kind of a leading model for artists. And as for, maybe you have heard, worth to mention, Beeple. Beeple, his real name is Mike Winkelmann. He was famous. Actually, I was working with him in 2017 on my exhibition in London. At the time, he started his own project. He created an artwork each day, constantly. And by the end of 2020, he became famous because he created already 5,000 artworks. And he started to upload his works to NFT, and his interest in him grew and like a snowball. And in April 21, last year, he went to Christie auction, and his collective artwork, as you may see here, for example, this is called 5,000 every day. And this collective artwork was sold for a record $69 million. He immediately became the third most expensive living artist in the world, alongside Jeff Koons and David Hockney. So it doesn't blow his mind.
Just because, was he lucky just because he was the first one to invent this idea? And if we try to repeat
this,
it,
yes, I think this is this is a combination of luck, of interest in investors. Of course, we have like a Western related stuff, so people from West has more opportunities, and because crypto was on top last year, it was a spring when Bitcoin jumped to $60,000. And at that time, it was really hypey, and this guy went very well. So I was on this. There was a famous Clubhouse application, if you remember. Everyone was on Clubhouse, and I was on this Clubhouse that was related to Christie auction when he actually sold this artwork, and everybody was shouting, and it was a crazy day. And it is kind of history. It's a historical moment, and they kind of launched this interest. They triggered a huge amount of artists to start working and selling art as NFT. So for me, for many of us, they are pioneers, and they boosted this interest, and people started to enter different marketplaces and curated platforms. So it's really interesting to have them as a part of art history. So the history that created on our in front of our eyes right now. And actually they rocketed careers of different artists. I won't stop on any of them, but there's kind of no common sense on how to promote, sell, and communicate with each other artist. So each other artist select their own way of doing it. And this diversity led to creation of one of the strongest online community I have never been experienced it in my life. So NFT art community is a huge one, is the warmest one, is very welcoming, is very positive. There is no way to criticize, or it is always like very, how to say, very friendly. And so it's worth to mention the huge difference between the real contemporary art market and NFT art market. So the first one obeys artists to follow strict rules set by galleries, by royalties, by clients. However, the NFT market has no strict rules. They are removing this middleman as gallery, as a sale agent, and in most cases the artist is capable to support their own communication with collectors, their sales, their activities in one person. And maybe in a few cases I know that they asked curators to help them with that, but it's never a middleman, it's never kind of a gallery. They try to raise now and to jump on this bandwagon, but it's really hard for them because they have different mindset, totally different mindset. And these people came from internet, they came from digital art, and they even don't know some rules, how it was done in contemporary art market. And this is really interesting. So
are those photos also from last year, or are those early collections?
This
I mean, the photos.
It's all artworks. For example, Peck, as you see on the left down screen, he sold his picture called 1 Pixel for $1 million. And then he created kind of a universe of his own concept. It was a huge concept behind his works, that you can buy a small pixel cube and then it grows as a big cube, and then you can exchange this cube, you can burn it, and you can get ash as a coin. And it's a huge concept behind each artist. And it depends how they, it's of course like not 100% of artists have their own concept. Many of them trying to sell something and to get money to close their debts. I know a lot of stories when people sold their artworks and closed the debts of their parents, of their selves. So it's all about beautiful stories. They got their keys from new flats, from new houses, from new cars. And this kind of boosted the artists are very touchable person, very depressive, and sometimes when it comes to money and to payments. And in case of NFTs, they get this boost, a huge boost. Of course, they do pay taxes in countries like Americas and UK. They do have to feel everything to pay taxes. It's about 30%, I think, now, of taxes they have to pay from NFT sales. But anyway, it's great. They have this money, they can do works. And for example, on this screen, all these successful artists, they continue working. They work with different brands like Andres Rizanger. He even created this chair you see on this peony chair made from flowers. He created for different exhibitions a real object of this. So it's mixing of physical and digital. And it's really interesting how they develop, how they work. And for example, on the right down corner, it is a famous meme. I think you know it's the girl behind the burning house, disaster girl. And this actually photo was sold by this girl. She's 20, I think now. And it was sold for $3,000. And she paid a lot for her father debts, for her family debts. So all these cases are really interesting. And because mainly it's worth to mention that NFTs gives an outstanding opportunity to have a lifelong royalty. If you know what's royalty, it's something that's paid when you sell your work and the collector later sells it again, and the artist gets his 10%, and it's forever because it's written in the ERC-72 smart contract that is commonly used for NFT art. So every time the work is resold, artist initially gets its 10% of every sale. So if you see this work, for example, with a beautiful car, it was sold for 50 Ethereums and then was resold for 100 Ethereum, the artist will get 10 Ethereum as a royalty. And it's amazing because you cannot imagine this in contemporary art markets, never. So I heard these stories that David Hockney tried to get his royalties and galleries said, no, we don't have this contract. So this is kind of interesting.
I have a question here, Arseny. As far as I understand, you are an experienced, I mean, you're an expert in arts and in digital arts especially. And can you distinguish which work is a real masterpiece and which one is just something simple? I mean, does your experience and background help you evaluate these NFTs and find which one is like good investment and which one is like doesn't cost $1?
Mm-hmm.
Just is there any connection?
I think it's really hard to evaluate a piece of art. You need to know the context. You need to know the artist, and you need to know how it was created. So it is really hard to say this is kind of a piece of shit and this is a piece of, I don't know, genius. And it's always mixed and it's always tested by time. So by time it can be, as you know from the art of history, many of artists that died in a poor, in a completely unknown, like, I don't know,
like Van Gogh.
Like Van Gogh, yes, and many of them. And it's only after they understand that it was a masterpiece, because nobody can do this again. In terms of digital art, yes, it's really hard for artists to make something new, because you have these tools, you are limited. But you see on this, even on this screen, you have everything was made from digital, except of this girl with a burning house. And they're all different, they're all beautiful, and you can't say this is. So it's really hard to evaluate. You need to have a trained eye, very trained eye. So you need to know the history of art. You need to know the different
And
movements.
are you an expert here? I mean, can you distinguish which NFT is better than another one?
It's not NFT. NFT is just metadata. It's a piece of each of these is an artwork. And yes, I can say that this artist can do something, but it always depends on the artists themselves, because they need to put everything to promote themselves, to work harder. And you see this work, you can say this person is working 24 hours, 7 days, and this person just used some 3D models. And it's really interesting how these communities developing, and they always shows up if somebody is cheating. They always show this, that hello guy, you are cheating, you are using this model from another artist, and you can't do this. And it's up to this artist to accept these mistakes and to do something new. And it's really nice how it's evolving. And I hope I answered the question.
I'm asking this question just because do you think, is it fair that some traditional piece of work, I don't know, with brush and oils, which is being created for a year, I don't know, or 5 years, as far as I know, history of arts, and someone makes just a selfie with a burning house, for example, and one piece of work with brushes and oil costs, I don't know, $100, while this hype, this NFT, can bring some lucky artists like $1 million. Is it fair?
It is fair. It is what we call the market. And it is fair because this kind of what is behind this story. So each artwork is a story. It's a visual story, and how much history it has, especially if it is from internet, like you mentioned the memes. There were a lot of memes sold later. All these famous memes with this girl with a strange face sitting on the back car, and she also gets her money. And there are millions of artists in the world, and there are countries that are really pushing themselves to promote, like UK. I have been to a lot of art markets in UK, and they have these layers. So if you are a regional artist, I mean regional or city artist, you can enter some city art fairs and you can showcase your artworks, and agents come and see your works. Yeah, this is how contemporary art is built. So they need to find an agent that will sell them to the gallery. But with NFTs, they can enter the space, they can run Twitter, they can follow people, they can find what people they need to follow, influencers and art, and start doing artworks. I have a lot of stories like this. People from real art, they came with these pencil drawings, with watercolors, and they are selling very good on NFT, on different blockchains, including Tezos, Solana, Ethereum. So this is not a case. It's not a good case to compare digital art. It is simply than traditional art. It's not a case. So they all require art, talent, skills, and 1% of genius, as Dali said.
Yeah, so where can I find this NFT? So I see a slide about marketplaces. Please tell us where can we buy and sell our NFT if we have any.
So yeah, I just collected the top marketplaces on Ethereum blockchain. I don't want to speak about other blockchains. They're very quite famous also, Tezos and Solana. But for Ethereum, we have these curated platforms, we have open platforms, and we have tools that can let artists create stuff themselves. They run their own tokens, run their own smart contracts. It's about curated galleries, curated platforms. You need to have invitation. You need to send application for these platforms. They will review your applications. They will see how it feels, how curators feels about your artwork, and they let you in. And they start promoting you, like Super Rare, Nifty, Makerspace, No Origin. And Async Art is working with musicians right now, so they are selling sound and video and sound together. So it's really interesting how musicians are entering the NFT space right now. And yes, for the open platforms, it's even you can enter them and sell your, I don't know, even your photography. If you create some interesting concept with your cat, with your dog, you can sell it on OpenSea, on Variable and Foundation. It's required after the latest merge of Ethereum. It does not even cost a penny, so it's one maybe bucks to mint your work, comparing to $100 last year, when artists had to spend a lot of money to mint their works, and this was risky. And also they have tools. You need to be a bit techy to understand the work of contracts, how smart contracts work. And you can create your own smart contract, your own token, like, I don't know, Design Collector. I have my own token, Digital Decay, and I sell artworks of artists and they get their revenue. And yes, it's, for now, it's quite easy. It's even not, it depends how interested you are and how much your art is how to say, unique and exclusive for this market, and you will get your collectors if you start communicating. So the communication is a very necessary part in this process. NFT, you can't sit behind, you need to be online, you need to be on Twitter, you need to run, communicate with people. So all this stuff. And so this is kind of for artists.
I do have a piece of art, if you see in my background. So, and okay, maybe it's not seen in the public. Okay, I'll explain. I mean, I have a little piece of art which I prepared just on my own. I'm not a professional artist, but I have a hobby, and right now it's just inside my home. But while I was listening to you, an idea came to my mind. Could I make a scan of those pictures, and could I upload them to one of the marketplaces that you mentioned? Is it for free for me, or?
Yes, it's possible. You can upload them to open platforms, and it depends on your connections, on your people around you. Maybe someone wants to support you, and you need to run Twitter, actually, because Twitter is the main tool of NFT artists. And whatever you think about it, it's really good because they have these cross connections with tags and hashes, hashtags, sorry. And so it is a good notion when artists started to think about how they can sell it, and they start to add, like a traditional artist. I have many of them. They entered NFT. They put NFT on their website, like a new tab. Like I sold canvases, I sold prints, and I sold NFTs, and nobody interested in it, because you need to make a story about it. You need to make a kind of hype about it. You need to represent it, to even to imagine something, to make a concept and to make people interested in your artwork. You can just put it on your website and say, okay, you can buy it, but is it a reasonable price for it? Is it so it's a lot of complicated things to think about and how to present yourself. And I saw a lot of cases when people entered and they were disappointed and they get away, they burned their tokens and they said, no way, NFT is not for me. It's very democratic.
Okay, an artist needs a team of marketing who will
it's not necessary.
popular.
As I said, you can do it yourself if you have this ability, and you can enter some platforms that can help you if you kind of if they're interested in your works, they start to sell them also. They start to promote you, and you can work with curators like me, like Design Collector. I help a lot of artists to expose themselves, to sell. That's what I'm actually doing. I'm helping them. And I see that it depends, it all depends on the person. So if they can sell or if they don't want to sell, or what are they doing here? So if any other questions, please?
Oh.
Or we can continue.
We can continue. I can mention that our dear guests, you're really welcome to add your questions in Q&A tab. And when Arseny lets us, we will read them loud and he will ask. I see already two comments from Daniel. If you're free, we can consider those questions, or let's finish the presentation and
okay, let's go through.
Okay.
I think we can start with how we're collecting, and kind of this is really interesting notion of how collecting art is changing with crypto. So most of when I started with NFT, I thought the collectors will come from real space, real art space, but it's not true. Most of NFT collectors, they stay anonymously, and they are active crypto traders. And in 2020 and 2021, they entered NFT art market as they want to make some money, but something went wrong and they started to be interested in art. I saw a lot of examples of plain traders, crypto traders, as you may see them on Twitter. They started to interested in art and they start to interested in some particular art. Somebody started to collect yellow pieces, somebody started to collect 3D pieces, somebody was interested in creating an exhibition of their art they collected. And this is really interesting how they shifted their mindset from traders to collectors without even a special background in art. And this also puzzled a lot of specialists in art collecting, because they were like snobbing NFT, and they were like, it's pictures not for us, but they started to see how it's evolving. And nowadays we see a lot of galleries and auctions entering NFT spaces from real art, and they start to use it as a tool. And it's really interesting how they evolving. And for example, in a short time period, these kind of NFT trade collectors, they start to build micro communities inside with a leading artist, with artists they like, and they start to create projects. They start to create self-initiated platforms for art distribution. They started to create exhibitions and expose their personalities. And we now see how top collectors, how they look, who they are, where they came from, and they really changed their personality. It's really interesting how they developed for this short period from people behind the screen to real performance, to collectors, to producers, and they organize NFT events right now. And a lot of running galleries, and it's really interesting. As for
does it exist offline?
Sorry?
NFT exhibit. Does it exist offline?
Yes, we will speak
The
about
exhibition?
this. Yes, we will speak
Wow.
about this.
Okay.
So as for collecting, we have NFT has three kind of, for me, it has three types of collecting notions. It is unique editions, it is limited collections, and it is PFP collections. PFP is a short word from profile picture. It means that it is NFT from a big collection, like 10,000 pieces, with a small picture that you can use as profile, like a CryptoPunk if you have a few millions of dollars, or a Bored Ape if you have I don't know, 10,000 of dollars. Depends on the investment. So as for unique editions, it is one of kind of non-fungible creation. It is a digital art with one edition that can only be owned by one person at a given time. It makes these NFTs quite attractive for collectors. So it's only one existing, and these creations generally command the highest sale price. And so the bigger the artist, the bigger the sales, the bigger the art name in digital space or in art space, the bigger you can resell this work. So it's clearly that by buying these unique editions, collectors fully invest in artists. Apart from art markets, they invest completely all money. Only 10% are taken as a fee by marketplace, 10-15%. And 85% of sales is going strictly to artists. This is not comparable to real market, where you can get only about 50% of your revenue, because everything else is taken by gallery or by agency. And this is very, very low fees in NFT, and it's really helping artists. And it makes like a bond with favorite artists. Collectors make a bond, and they create further opportunities for both sides. So collector also can put this art on a second market, or they can lend it to exhibitions run by different curators or collectives, or they can even gift it to someone, or at the end they can even burn them or send the token to the dead wallet. It is called to burn. If something happens, I don't know if they was very emotional. I saw these cases. Some collectors burn their artworks because artists behave themselves differently, or it's different cases. So they can do anything with this digital piece, digital token, and it is up to them. So as for limited edition, we have the token, the NFT token, can be minted under different smart contracts that can have multiple editions inside, and these editions also can be valuable. And for example, artists can set a utility. It is a new paradigm in NFT art, when there is a concept behind the NFT. And for example, the easiest concept is an airdrop. So the utility of your artwork, if collector buys your artwork, next time you give something them for free. For example, if they collect like 2 editions of your work, then you send another work for free. It's a simple one. It's called airdrop. It's when something is given to you back for owning the NFT. And for example, there is a really interesting case with Damien Hirst. He's famous artist in the world, and he created this project, the currency project. And after collectors passed the whitelist is a kind of a filter that you enter the raffle, and they selected you because there are a lot of people interested in, for example, in Denenhurst and his NFT, and he has only 10,000 of NFT and likely 50,000 of entrants of people, and they made a raffle, and you get a ticket to buy this NFT for 2,000 pounds, 2,005 pounds, and at the end, this artwork. So his utility was so at the end you can select either you burn your NFT and get a real print, as you see on picture, signed by an artist, or you stay with NFT and you don't get the print. And this was really fun because people were like, there was two kind of people and they split actually by half. It was funny because half of them selected to burn NFTs and get this unique piece of art from this famous artist. And some of them stays with NFT and they actually sold it for, the top was 30 Ethereum. You know, by the time it was a really good money, like $1,020. So it's really good. So every artist can create this kind of gamification with NFT, with his concepts, and it's really interesting how they do it. There is no limitation, so it all depends on your kind of imagination of artists, how they work with this art. And as for these famous PvP collections, when internet people hear NFT, they think about this. They think about picture of CryptoPunks, silly apes, and other creatures that accompanied with big prices. And it is good to know that behind each project, each PFP project, there are a big team of developers, designers, and marketing persons. And this team really interested in higher ranked investors like celebrities. A lot of celebrities bought CryptoPunks, bought apes, and that's why it started to gain this community. To start, it was like a rank of your wealth. So you can show your wealth by putting this picture on your profile, like many of celebrities did, and later they removed it, but it was before this. So it's really interesting how these projects are developing, and good projects forms a huge community very quickly. Communities that support each other. They create Discord channels. Discord is something from games. It came from game industry. Discord is a chat application, but now it's a default application for collections like this, for NFT collections. So you run your Discord chat channel for communications with your people, make some stuff there, making noise, making new context around this. And this is how this developed. And actually, in case you want to earn money in NFT on PFP collections, it is good to be on Twitter, on Discord, follow influencers, NFT influencers, follow these teams, artists, and stay in touch with daily change news. And you can actually kind of spend a lot of money on nothing, and one day it's shoot you a rocket a good money. So it's kind of a casino right now with these PFP collections, but I really split it from artists. So it's a notion that artists are focusing on unique pieces or limited editions, and actually rare artists create PFP collections. I saw this. It's funny, but it's kind of very hard to support it on your own. You need a team. And yes, so if you have questions, please.
And regarding these PFP collections, yes, of course, I think many of us have heard of NFT regarding these apes and punks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people start learning and hearing about NFT actually just because of this crazy money. I'm not sure they were interested in arts. I don't know, in these animations, but it's just because of this crazy money. And what do you think? Is it already too late to invest in such NFT? Are they overestimated, or is it still quite a reasonable price to invest?
Yeah, I think every day there is a new tens of projects appearing. Most of them are scam. Most of them are, so you need to have a nose for distinguish who is who, because you need to stay online on Twitter and to understand how to distinguish real projects from not real. And maybe blue tick on OpenSea will help you. It's like a blue tick the collection get when it's verified and when it has good sales. But nowadays the prices are low, so you can actually buy some stuff from top collections. You just enter like NFT top collections and you get this list. Like recently I bought this zombie and it was not very expensive, and last year it was really expensive. They cost like 3 Ethereum and now they cost like half Ethereum, and who knows, they may be rise soon and get back to the rails, because Ethereum is down. And as we remember, last year the Ethereum was about $5,000. Now it is only 1,000 something, just because of this situation around and the economy, and because they completely changed the scheme of Ethereum last week. So this is really interesting, and it's never late to enter and never late to lose your money.
So
it's all risky, but
when Bitcoin is down, all altcoins are down and NFTs are down as well, and it's time to enter the market, right?
Yes, because there were a lot of people who trying to invest and they bought it on the high and they tried to sell it when it's down. So a lot of people are strange.
A lot of people are losing money. Actually, we have a question from Daniel, and I think it's like good comment from your topic. I think it's about considering meta universe environments and NFT. I guess it's like a good use case for using NFT. The question was considering the human in the meta universe environments of the future. I think he meant that the NFT could be used in Metaverse, right? Not just to keep one, but I don't know, hope that later on we will have.
Yes, exactly.
Metaverse.
Yeah, Metaverse is a new, it's not very new, it's a new kind of paradigm, and we see this, the combination of these digital tools like VR, like Metaverse platforms open a lot of ways for producers, for curators, for collectors to run their own exhibitions, run their own shows, meetups online, and the NFT can become a utility, as Daniel mentioned. So it can be anything right now. So even when you buy, for example, I bought this, as you see, this building for my Metaverse gallery, and I can enrich it with the new tools. Like if you remember the Sims game, you can buy a chair, you can buy I don't know, a new stuff that can hold your art. So you can enrich your Metaverse with all this stuff, and this can be a part of NFT marketplace. So you can buy stuff from NFT to enrich your Metaverse experience, and it's happening right now. So it's not a big deal. And maybe with this new Ethereum merge that happened last week, more countries will take a look at the, blockchain, at Ethereum, at NFT as a part of daily basis stuff, not only pictures. You can do anything with blockchain, with tokens, with NFT. It can be a transaction. So I saw a lot of cases with car industry. They make, for example, you can rent a car with NFT, and it's all written in blockchain, and you have this key as an NFT. You can open your car and run it. So it's a lot of cases can be done later. But as I want to focus on art, for example, for curating, for creating these galleries, this metaverse experience, there are tools right now, and I also split them. This kind of you can create your own VR gallery very easy with these platforms, with a number of platforms. They all exist, like on Cyber or Art Steps, and you can build your own gallery. You can build your you can select NFTs your own, or you can borrow NFTs by pasting a link by request from artists. So you can do whatever you want in this metaverse. It's like it can be a simple gallery, or it can be a really metaverse experience where you can meet people. It's more sophisticated way to create it. You need maybe a team of developers to create a real exhibition inside metaverse. I took a part in different exhibitions inside metaverse where you speak with people using your camera or chats, like online, like in this 3D world. You experience the artworks, you can even buy them, and this all like a continuation of real shows. So this all can be mixed, and it's really interesting how it's developing right now. So a lot of galleries, festivals are showcasing NFTs on screens. They try to be smart to create some installations with, it's still a digital representation, still you need a screen to show it, maybe in future. So when I actually started with crypto, I had a friend that created a concept of wearable screens, so you can wear your artwork on your tote bag or on your clothes, and it's really interesting how it's developing with fashion industry right now. And so you can wear a digital piece of wardrobe on as an NFT. You can buy it. You can have new sneakers, digital sneakers, and you can make photos in this wardrobe. So it's all about, it's all new, it's all really early, as everyone is mentioning that it's a very early stage, and a lot of people are inside it, a lot of people are making stuff, and a lot of people are pushing boundaries every day, and it's really interesting to follow them. And actually it forms a culture right now. So NFT forms a really smart culture. So it's necessary to be on Twitter, on Discord, on knowing these memes to be inside this culture, as every subculture, you know. But it's really welcoming, and it's really, you can really onboard really fast on it by using these abbreviations like GM. GM is good morning, actually, but it's GM. And you need to say it every day. You come to Twitter like GM, and everybody is replying you GM, and sending you, I don't know, smileys and every stuff like GIFs and GIFs, and it's everybody happy. And one day I had like my flow in Twitter all of GMs, and everybody saying GM to all day. So it's really interesting.
And how can we say good evening, G?
No, it's GN. GN is like good night when you are sleeping, and you don't even sleep, but you see everybody's replying you GN.
I think that I have to say GN to our guests. Thank you very much for this talk. It's really our future, and I like the idea that people started to learn about NFT just because of hype and money, but it helped them to learn more about creative arts, to like the industry, to understand better the arts. And it's a good way to express ourselves if you're a young artist. So it's pretty interesting. Thank you so much that you share your experience. Thank you, our guests. We are closing our third day of the blockchain conference. See you tomorrow. We have another portion of talks. You're very welcome. Bye.
Thank you, GM. Bye bye.
GM.